Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. We would not be where we are without the incredible support of John and the team. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
Hello and welcome to All Aboard the Championship. Looking at the games this weekend, so many goals, so many talking points to go through. All 12 fixtures we're going to be looking at in this one. Lewis, welcome. You're here in a timely manner and we're ready to go to have a look at what happened in the Championship this weekend. So we start on Friday night at the Hawthorns. Informed Sheffield United, or kind of informed Sheffield United, arrive at the Hawthorns. They've been a little bit in and out, West Brom, but it ended up being a comfortable 2-0 victory. Was that the story? Was it a comfortable one in the end?
I think in the end it was for them, yeah. I mean, precious win for Ryan Mason to give him what feels like a stay of execution. Obviously, he's been under a lot of pressure. Chris Wilder scathing of his team's second half performance, and goals from Hegerberg and Grant after half-time give West Brom all 3 points. I have to say they deserved it. You know, we outed ourselves on a previous stream as Sheffield United fans. Disappointing result for us, but I can't sit here and say West Brom didn't deserve it. They won the key battles in the middle of the pitch for me that led to both goals. Obviously, there were mistakes in the game from the Sheffield United end of things as well. Penalty shout for Callum O'Hare late on, and this was maybe a question that better posed to the man in black, Gaz Dunn. I changed my mind on this, Paul. I wanted your opinion on it because I changed my mind on it after seeing it, or certainly after seeing the replay. Initially, I thought no, and then when I saw the replay, I thought actually no. He takes his leg. What did you make of it? Would you disagree? What was your?
Well, after I was done it, I was so enraged by that point. I literally had written off anything really, because I was just so perplexed at how you can come out and do such a poor performance in the second half after what was in the first half a performance that said they should have gone in ahead really, Sheffield United, in my opinion, at half time. But that's not taking anything away from West Brom, because I thought they deserved it on the second half showing. So yeah, I think it was disappointing from a Sheffield United perspective, but West Brom, like you say, will be really happy. Mason, similar thing that happened at Southampton, really. It's that we didn't score 3 goals. They came roaring back in the second half, and as a manager, I'd imagine he was quite satisfied that he gets him in, gets to have a chat to him. Maybe more than a chat, and then they come out and they produce in the second half. So fair play to West Brom on that one. We'll move swiftly on to Wrexham next, mate. Wrexham and Watford kicked off with a Windass goal, who's been in and out of that side. He didn't seem to celebrate like he was too happy with the situation at the minute, even though I think it's 6 goals for the season for him. They've played out a 2-2 at Wrexham. Good game.
Good game. I mean, Phil Parkinson, I caught his post-match. He said that he thought at the very least Wrexham deserved was a draw. The reality is it was a pretty even game over the 90, and the numbers suggest that as well. As you say, Josh Windass opening the scoring in this one before Dumbia equalised for Watford with a big deflection. Marma makes it 2-1 inside the first half after Wrexham failed to defend a cross. And Ollie Rathbone levels with a nice left-footed effort from outside the box. Watford manager Javi Gracia is shown a red card in the second half for protesting an Ollie Rathbone challenge, which was a naughty one. through the back of Dunbeer for me. I can understand why he was a bit upset with it, but he was maybe a little bit too upset and ended up getting his marching orders. So Watford, Paul, do you think they're underachieving? They've got some useful players for me, but they're currently sitting 13th. Should they be doing a little bit better, do you think?
I don't know where you'd put him in. I don't know where you'd have him on the start of the season when the betting comes out and when you look at the squads that they've got. They've flirted with the idea of the playoffs, haven't they, in recent years? Am I really surprised they're in 13th? Not really. They're not in loads of trouble, are they? But they're not pulling up trees. We love Loser, don't we? Think he's one of the best technicians in the division. But I think they're a little bit hot and cold, like a lot of the teams in this division, mate. At the minute, win one week, lose the next. You never really know where they're going to be, and a very difficult division to call. And Watford certainly a difficult team to pin down as whether they're going to produce the goods or not. So, do I think 13's a bit too slow for them? I don't know. It's probably about where I'd find them in my prediction at the start of the season. Maybe a touch higher, but yeah, that's probably where I'd put them anyway, mate. But Wrexham obviously coming up and making a good fist of it. Lots of noise around them. Disney FC, as they are known by some teams who are probably just a bit jealous they're not getting the money that they get for going on the telly. But yeah, it's I thought it'd be a transition season for them. I thought they'd survive this year, and I think they'll go again next year and be stronger, even more stronger next year once they've added a few more. Kiefer Moore obviously doing an amazing job for them as well. Portsmouth down to Pompey in this what has to be looked at as a huge game at the bottom of the division. Portsmouth and Blackburn, gilt-edged stuff.
Yeah, and I thought Pompey were good in this. Played with some intensity as well after 3 straight defeats. Obviously knew they needed to pull out a performance and a result. They knew it was a big game. And they had to come from behind to win it. Ahashi scoring with a solo effort after Pompey give the ball away in midfield and Blackburn go on the break. The equaliser comes from a fantastic ball to the back post by Josh Murphy, something of a talisman for Portsmouth, showing us his quality to lay on a sitter for Lang, and then the winners headed home by Bovat from a corner. It's really tightened up again at the bottom, hasn't it? 5 points between Blackburn in 20th and Norwich in 23rd. Again, I think it's going to be an exciting scramble down there if it continues like this. But
Norwich being nowhere near it at the end as well. So I think some of those sides around there are going to be looking around thinking, who are the 3 going to be? Because it could be one of any number of combinations for me at the minute.
Yeah, agreed. And you look at obviously Wednesday down there, and that's not going to change. But you look at Oxford, who have some useful players themselves. You know, a team that I quite like on their day could be in trouble if Norwich climb out of there. Pompey are obviously still down there in it. Blackburn, so up and down. You never know what to expect from one week to the next. Good players, but they don't produce it every single game.
And Blackburn, of course, a side who nearly made the playoffs on the last day last year. So yeah, it's going to be tricky. It could be they're a giant club, obviously, and if they're flirting with relegation, we have seen clubs like that go down before. Next one was, I think, again, a bit of, I wouldn't say a bona fide acca buster, but Millwall 1, Hull 3. When I saw that, Millwall at home tend to be a tricky customer. Hull doing really well at the moment.
Yeah, and rarely dull when either of these two teams are involved in a game. And I always thought this one could be lively. Carl Joseph with a brace, putting Hull 2-0 up inside 15 minutes. Femi Aziz sent off in the 76th minute for a really bizarre incident. Those at the ground would certainly have had a better view of it than me. But he looks a little bit unlucky at a glance. It looks like he's trying to wrestle himself free after coming together, but in doing so, he kicks out, appears to hurt Carl Joseph in doing so. Not convinced it was deliberate, but it gave the ref a decision to make, and it's a bit of an unfortunate one. I don't think the lad meant to do it, but just a situation where he's trying to get away when he's trying to get back to defend as well. Nevertheless, you know, Millwall pull a goal back with about 10 minutes of normal time to go before a classic Ollie McBurney goal late on, heading home at the near post to put the game beyond Millwall. So, I mean, the teams in and around that top 6, again, showing that they can all beat one another. It's going to be an exciting promotion race, isn't it?
It's going to be close. It could be a couple of teams getting there with a game or two to go. The way that it's shaping up at the minute, one side that are making some reasonable headway at the top there are Middlesbrough, looking more and more like the ones that could be the number 2.
Yeah, and in Middlesbrough QPR, a game that finished 3-1 to Middlesbrough, 2 teams in pretty good form coming into it. One probably more fancied for promotion at the start of the season than the other, I think it's fair to say. But David Strelic receives a brilliant through ball from Hayden Hackney, wonderful ball through, and slams it into the bottom right-hand corner to put Borough 1-0 up. Morgan Whittaker making it 2-0. After a fast breakaway, cracking goal, this left-footed shot from outside the box. Wonderful assist from Sol Bryn to lay it on for him. And I mean, this game is effectively over as well when Tommy Conway scores a pen just after half-time. Madsen pulling one back from QPR for QPR from the spot later on.
Is Hackney a player that teams going up might look at and think he could be one that we steal if Middlesbrough aren't the side to get promoted this season? Is he one that they've got to keep hold of?
I think so. I think there are a few teams amongst that top clutch of teams where you think the ones that don't go up are going to be primed for, anyone like a Coventry, for instance. It looks like they will win the division at this moment in time. A long way to go, obviously, but if they go up, you would think they're going to be looking at players of that ilk. I think Hayden Hackney could step up. I think he could play in the Premier League. He certainly shows, appears to have a lot of the attributes to go and do that. It's a big step up, as we know. But I think he's going to be one certainly that teams would be looking at.
Whittaker, obviously, as well, also showing a bit more consistency. He's always had that bit of magic, hasn't he? But he's doing it on a bit more of a regular basis at the minute. So fair play to him for that. On to Leicester City in a massive game. When you look at the 2 teams on paper and you look at the quality available at the top of the pitch, most of these lads have been bought for the Premier League, haven't they? And we were treated to some amazing goals in this one.
We were, and a clash of 2 teams with lofty aspirations. Recent form has been a little bit up and down for both. Ipswich looking for a 3rd straight win after defeating Coventry and Stoke. So Bobby Decordova-Reid opening the scoring spectacular dipping strike from distance. If that wasn't spectacular enough, then Fatawu treats us to, just the kind of goal you love to see. Spots keeper Walton off his line, takes aim from well inside his own half for 2-0. Always fun to watch goals like that. Jordan Ayew obviously making it 3 before Ipswich score a consolation goal. But good week for Leicester, mate. 7 points from 9 and up to 8th place. Obviously, we've got the issue of potential points deduction hanging over their head. But I mean, do you think it's taking a bit of pressure off Marty Cifuentes this last week?
They're a big side, mate. I mean, the financial irregularities and the potential points deduction could be what saves him, really. Because if this was a side that they weren't going to get those sanctions put on them, they're certainly a team on paper that you should be thinking is going to be a top 5 team in this league, and the proof will be in the pie, won't it? Because he's going to have to make sure that they're there or thereabouts come the finish line. And if the deduction comes, that might not be his fault, but it could be the thing that potentially saves him this season. They're 2 wide players, are fabulous players. The goalkeepers in this game, I wouldn't be too happy with my goalkeeper for Fatawu's goal. And certainly the consolation was a complete and utter shambles from a defensive point of view. He'll be well glad that they were out of sight at that point, because if that had cost him, he might have had something for Marty might have lost his cool maybe at that one. But no, it was a really good win for Leicester, and you can't take anything away from him. I think Ipswich have got some outstanding attacking talent, obviously. We're on to Coventry grinding one out a little bit at home. More posts than I don't know what to say. Well, than a garden centre, but it was there was how many times have they smashed the post in this one? I counted. Was it 2-1 in the end? It was It was a real blockbuster, wasn't it?
It was, and they were, yeah. Some it only turned out to be a 1-0, and that settled it. And the two teams that haven't exactly been in sparkling form of late, but Coventry get their promotion push back on track. Mason Clark with a goal just after an hour. Bristol City made a fist of it, and Carl Rushworth was called upon a few times to preserve Coventry's clean sheet. He had a good game. This felt like a game Coventry just needed to win by whatever means after a couple of adverse results, and they almost seemed to approach it that way to me. Have we seen a glimpse of vulnerability from them in recent weeks, Paul, or is it just one of those things? It's a long season. You've got to accept there are going to be the odd.
No, I think it's a sign of a side that's finding ways to win, and I think that if you're going to go and win the league, do I think that they are completely and utterly wiping the floor with teams like a little bit like Leeds were doing a little bit last season at times? No, I see it in flashes. So they've got outstanding individuals who do stuff from not game on game. They are players who are, there are 9 this week. There'll be a 7 next week. There'll be an 8. There'll be a 6. I think that they've got quite a few of those. And also what you can't say is, and that's not being too critical of the Coventry players, you never know what you're going to get from your opposition either. And Bristol are a bit of a tough nut to crack at times. So you give them credit where it's due for grinding out the result. Do I think that Coventry are going to wipe the floor of everybody every game this season? No, I don't. But what I do think is they're finding a way to win, and that is how champions tend to do it. So I think that's that I'll give them that on that basis. Birmingham City and Charlton played out what certainly some people who I know who do streams, Cal Fowler, would have said that Brum would have smashed Charlton all over the show, but not to be. A 1-1 draw. I think obviously in Damari Gray they've got someone capable of special moments in games, and someone who's obviously played Premier League before, someone that could probably go and play Premier League again based on the form we're seeing from him recently. But it wasn't enough to turn over a resurgent, a hard to beat Charlton side.
Yeah, and Birmingham off the back of 2 away defeats going into this as well, but generally a different proposition at St Andrews. Charlton coming in off the back of 5 straight defeats. So I think this is a great away point for them off the end of a bad run. It's a sort of result that can maybe turn things around for them. Christoph Clara on the score sheet for the Blues, beautifully guided header from a free kick. I thought it was a really nice goal. Tyrese Campbell, the Charlton Tyrese Campbell off the bench to score.
Fake one.
On 67, the pretend Tyrese Campbell. Only joking, Charlton fans. He's a good player. Hasn't been a great week for Birmingham, has it, Paul? It just feels like a time where they were maybe building some momentum and getting towards that top 6. You're thinking, they're going to make a push for it. They've just come off the rails slightly, haven't they? And need to get back on it.
They do. For me, it's about right. I think that it is about right where they are at the minute. I did like Clara's celebration. He just seemed to stand in the same spot. Typically, players run to a corner or they celebrate, and then he just sort of stood there like, yeah, that's not quite the Cantona with the collar up. It wasn't quite that, but he just stood there, didn't he? He just gave it one of those. I thought, oh, he's got something about him. I like that in him. So yeah, fair play to him. Obviously, Gray hits the post for him. They'll think they're a little bit unlucky, but yeah, they've expected 3, and the nature of this league, mate, you never know what you're going to get. Charlton, they've started well, they've had a stutter, and now they're maybe coming back into some kind of form. So fair play to Charlton for going there and getting that point. Stoke City 2, Swansea 1. The Swans. Oh, it's looking a little bit ominous for them at the moment, Swansea. What do you think, Lewis?
I think so. I mean, they picked up a good result recently. I think it was against Oxford, which seemed like a bit of a 6-pointed game even at this stage of the season. But yeah, they go down 2-1 at Stoke here. Stoke on a barren run themselves after starting the season so well. And Swansea coming in off the back of, two wins. Looked like they were picking up. But big win for the Potters this, and some great goals in it. Ben Pearson with a goal from outside the box. Not long before half time to make it 1-0. Absolute wonder strike from him. Stoke's main man, Sorba Thomas, makes it 2 on the hour, and then Vipotnik making it a nervy finish with a goal on 78 for Swansea. Interestingly, Swansea were ahead in a lot of performance metrics in this game. I took a look at this afterwards just to see how the game had gone. Just not in the only one that, the only one that they weren't better in is the one that matters, which is putting the ball in the onion bag, as we know. So, could this be a big moment in Stoke's season, Paul? It brings to an end a bad run, and at a time when resurgent teams like Southampton and Ipswich have faltered. Feels like a big result for them to me. Do you think it'll turn them around?
I don't know, mate. I think Stoke have got those flash in the pan sort of players, haven't they, where they can produce special moments, but are they going to do it consistently? I don't know, mate. They came to Bramall Lane and got turned 4. They do have striking talent in Thomas, who gives them a really good outlet. Is Dr. Vipotnik going to be enough to keep Swansea alive? I think he's their best player, isn't he, at the moment? Sorry for the Sonic fans from yesteryear.
I like that.
Yeah, mate, Dr. Vipotnik. I've been waiting for that. So yeah, it's I think he's talented. I think he stays in the division and he gets a move even if they don't. So I think he'll be all right. But but it's kind of the Swansea way. Do you remember it used to be a little bit where Swansea were just passing teams off the park? Do you remember when they were being really successful and they were great on the eye and they were playing, they played some really good football, but didn't always have the finishing touch and didn't always have that that ruthless streak that took them to levels above. So I don't know whether that's the thing with Swansea, whether it's they play too pretty, but I fear for them. I look down at the bottom there, and I can see them in the shake-up at the end. So we'll have to watch the space. Another side who I think are going to be down there, and despite having a few good lads in there, Oxford and a good manager, 1-2 to Preston. They've been done again, and Paul Heckingbottom doing the job for Preston. He's got to be on some people's lists. If some of these big heads in this division roll, surely he's on short lists for jobs, because he is doing an amazing job at Preston.
He is, and a promotion on his CV as well, success on his CV before. With Preston are known for really not being a big spending team. They don't operate with a very big budget, and he's getting the maximum out of them, as we know Paul Heckingbottom can. Oxford fall into a second defeat in their last 3 games, and with Norwich seemingly turning a corner, it would appear. Preston, continue to grind out results and are very much in that playoff contention. Open the scoring with Jordan Storey, and then Dan Jebison, a player we know well, making it 2 just before half time. De Keersmaker, a player who I like for Oxford, pulled one back minutes later for Oxford. Can Oxford, you've kind of alluded to the fact that you're sort of concerned for Oxford. It's going to be down to their big players, isn't it, as to whether they survive. They've got some players I really like, Plaqueta, De Keersmaker. So, on their day, they can be a tricky customer, Oxford. But it's really going to rely heavily on those key players coming through for them, isn't it, and them being available for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it just feels like they're on the wrong end of too many of these results at the minute. Obviously, they have got individual quality in the team, but they're just not quite getting these games over the line, and maybe not getting what they deserve sometimes. When you watch the game, sometimes you feel like they've been a little shortchanged when it comes to dishing out the points at the end of it. So it's a problem, but I think Rowett's a good lad, and he's gonna try his best to steer him away from that. I'd back him to do so. I think he's a good manager at this level. So the surprise result this weekend. In the past, maybe not such a big surprise, but certainly with Norwich's season hanging the way that it hangs at the moment, 2-1 victory at home to Southampton, who I have backed recently to go and start throwing their name in the hat for the promotion this season. A big win for him at home, that 2-1.
Yeah, and you mentioned yourself last week that we were starting to see signs that Norwich, might start to turn their form around. Something that you called, actually. Lots of controversy in this one, though. Yvonne Makama bagging 2 goals, one either side of a Ryan Manning leveller, which was a banger, by the way, from 25 yards. Great goal. Before that, Armstrong was denied a clear penalty for me after being upended by Maatsen. They get one later when Skenza goes down, but it's saved. The winner from Makara looked like it should have been disallowed for handball. Southampton defenders were livid, and having seen the replay, I'm not surprised. But we saw shoots of recovery from Norwich recently, mate. I mean, it does look like it's the start of a revival for them, doesn't it? I mean, if they can, maximise the benefit of having the likes of Josh Sargent in their team, Makama having an impressive game for them here as well. All of a sudden they look like they've got goals in them, don't they?
They do, and it's. I think they're going to be nowhere near their current league position at the end, and I still see Southampton as a contender. It's just the nature of this league at the moment. Doing an accumulator in this division, you might as well just toss a coin and chuck it into the wind, as I'm proving as well on Football Therapy. But we don't. So two sides that I see their fortunes improving in the new year will be Norwich and Southampton. Onto the sorry case of Sheffield Wednesday. 3-0 defeat home to Derby. Adjumang with a couple of really good goals in this one, and for the third one, Ryan Brewster hit the weight. He absolutely smashes the full back at full tilt. He sends him to the shops, and then squares the ball for the third goal. Got to sting a little bit for the Sheffield Wednesdayites watching a former Blade deliver that kind of muscle.
Yeah, and one that scored in a Sheffield derby as well. And we don't, we're not acting like we're rubbing that in, are we? Just really it's a really disappointing night for Wednesday again. And I had to say as well, I look at. I'm not always one for stats, peripheral stats, let's say. The important one is how many goals you score, as we know. But you look at, they've had 60% possession in this game. They've had a high percentage of accurate passes versus their opposition. So they seem to be set up in a way to try and stay in games as much as possible, try and keep the ball as much as possible, and just kind of find their way into games that way. But they obviously, for the reasons we all know, just don't have the kind of quality to go and punish anyone. And for Derby, Adjumang steps up with 2 goals again. Seems to be filling in quite nicely for Carlton.
Looks like a player he does, doesn't he, to be fair?
He does. And we were all concerned for Derby when Carlton Morris became injured, but Adjumang seems to have stepped into his shoes and he's doing a job for them. Derby have created a lot of chances in this game as well. As I say, they've only had 40% of the possession, but they've created all the chances. And a sorry situation for Sheffield Wednesday, one that you don't see improving until obviously the ownership saga comes to an end and they can move forward. The likes of Barry Bannon and Liam Palmer as well, as Chris Wilder said, just trying to keep the group's spirits up at the moment and doing the best they can. But yeah, it's going to be a long, hard season for them.
Well, it felt like, and there was a lot to talk about from a refereeing perspective, and we've got our national level referee to explain a couple of these to us. And here he is. It's Gaz Dunn. Welcome, Gaz. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, gents. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Thank you, pal. Yeah, we managed to get through them, and here we are. So, want to talk to you about a few that we noticed this weekend. Norwich's second goal.
Yeah, very contentious, incorrect decision, as we know. The referee can't do anything about it. Honestly, he can't. You stand in a certain position to try and see everything you can see. He has got, and if you've seen the replays, he is looking straight through about 3 players. He's got no chance of giving this. He can't guess. I'll be honest with you, player reaction doesn't help him. There isn't a massive uproar of, I think there's 1 or 2 that's like a half shout for a potential handball, but nobody's going up in arms. So sometimes you've got that gut feeling when as a referee, you've got a gut feeling of like something's not right here. I don't think he would have got that from that. So when the half shout goes up and he can't see it, he can't give it. The only person who's potentially got a chance to see it is AR, is the assistant referee. And obviously he can't see it, otherwise he would have given it. If we see that sometimes you can see it from being in that position as an assistant referee, but And this is why there's a massive consensus should be VAR be in the Championship.
Guys,
You know what my immediate thought
looking
was?
after your mates again there, aren't you, mate?
No, honestly, I'm not. He's got it wrong. He's got it wrong. He knows he's got it wrong.
I
Everyone
thought I
knows
was watching a game of volleyball. Oh, never mind.
You know what I thought, Gaz, straight away, as soon as I saw it and I saw the replay, I thought this is one of those situations where everybody that hates VAR or any of the people that hate VAR are going to say, wish we had VAR in that situation. It's one of those. But
it's the law of sod, mate. It happens. It happens.
I think it's 61% on Sky Sports now for VAR in the Championship. They've got a thing out at the moment.
Yeah,
61%.
Okay.
Off the back of that decision.
I don't know. I think there's potential for it to be amazing VAR, but they're just deploying it all wrong for me. But that's a different stream for a different.
That's a different conversation all night.
Bristol handball for the disallowed goal.
Yeah, 0-0 as well. This as well.
So a big decision.
Big
on this
decision.
One.
Yeah, obviously Coventry only win 1-0. So it's hit his arm, and the problem with law now is if you remember the one from Sheffield United when Newcastle, I think it was Newcastle that scored and it hit his hand, West Ham, and it got disallowed. Yeah. That's the way it is now. As soon as it touches your arm, and it's close. It is close. It's literally just there on his arm. As soon as it hits him, and the next action is to score, it's a goal. If that happens in the middle of the park, handball might not be given. It might not be. But one thing people don't want, and I think it was after the Ireland goal, nobody wants it to hit the arm and then the next action be a goal. So, correct decision in my opinion. And, yeah, you've done well to spot it.
Yeah. I saw this one pretty closely. McGuinness, West Brom's second goal, looks like he's been tripped. Replays make it look pretty unclear. I personally couldn't decide on it. Was there a potential trip on McGuinness? Do we give him the benefit of the doubt on that one?
You can go both ways with this one. I really do believe. I think some referees give this. I think some don't, because I think there is slight contact, and it's down to, was that contact impactful? Did that cause McGuinness then catch his own leg and then fall flat over on his backside? And it's just how, and this is what I love about football and love about refereeing. It's all down to interpretation, where I would have given it on the field of play personally, and that's not because it's Sheffield United or anything like that. No. But I would have given the foul because
first glance, it looks like a foul, doesn't it?
Yes.
Let's face it, he would have got the ball had he not gone
100%.
flying. So it's one of those, mate. I know Wilder didn't have any sympathy for it. He thought he should.
No, he didn't. I think Wilder would have had a different opinion of it if we turned up in the second half than if we played like we did. I think he has a different thing. And it's the same with the penalty on Callum O'Hare. Doesn't get met. That's a Stonewall penalty for me, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, and do you know what? I changed my mind on that, Gaz, because initially when I saw it, I thought, no, it looked like kind of Cal had sort of been maybe looking for it a little bit and taking a little bit. And then when I saw the replay, I thought, no, he's taken his leg, and I'd completely reversed. And I think you were in our chat saying, I think definitely a penalty. So
I thought it was a penalty for me.
The Southampton penalty given.
It's very. Yeah, so it's very similar to the one that Foden doesn't get against Newcastle a few weeks ago. And this is where us as referees, in my opinion, we learn and analyse what's happened in previous games and look at other people's decisions and things like that. Because he takes.
Are you saying there's a mistake there, guys? I can't quite. It's very diplomatic of you, that, wasn't it?
I do try. So he's actually taken the shot, and then obviously sends us taking the shot, and then he just comes in and just takes him out straight out. It's a free kick anywhere on the park. Anywhere on the park, that's a free kick. And I think the referee's done really well because there's actually a slight delay, and then he blows the whistle and points to the spot and gives the penalty. And it's a penalty for me. Correct decision. But I didn't see the one. I didn't see the other one on Armstrong, Louis. I'll look for it and I'll put it in the chat. I'll give you my opinion.
Yeah, there was a. We briefly spoke about the Cal O'Hare one, the Femi Aziz one for Millwall. Did you see that one, Gaz?
Yeah, the red card.
Yeah, was that justified? Was that about right?
Yeah, so the assistant referee's given that, and just for awareness, the referee's not giving it. He's following play up the field of play. There's a coming together, and if you watch it, you can see him kick out with his foot, not with his arm. Obviously, he kicks out. As soon as you do that, you're giving an assistant referee or a fourth. One of them two's giving it. I'd probably say the assistant referee. You give him no option. As soon as you do that, you're going to walk every day of the week and violent conduct straight away.
Okay. Cool. Well, thank you for that, mate. There was one of a Rathbone on and Dunbier, wasn't there? That I don't know if you saw that one as well. That was one people had a few to say about.
I haven't seen that one. I'll look back. I'll have a look.
Yeah, cool. Cool. We can talk about it if it comes up again. But let's just have a little look at the table. So Coventry, they've got a 12-point lead at the top now. That looks pretty unassailable. Middlesbrough have kind of they've strengthened their position in second place. Are they the top two, boys? Are they going to be the ones that definitely do it this season?
Well, I still think there's a slight question mark on Middlesbrough, and I think we've talked about this before, whether we think they've got enough to stay in there. I'm just really impressed with how Kim Hellberg's hit the ground running with them, and it's been quite seamless. You know, that you wondered if they'd go a bit off the rails after having to change manager, Rob Edwards leaving. But he just seems to have hit the ground running with them. I think they've got a good chance of staying there, you know, provided we don't get a really strong run from the likes of Southampton and Ipswich. Obviously, we've seen them falter once or twice recently when it looked like they were just going to fly up the league. So I think that's where the threat comes from, if anywhere.
Yeah, I'm still quite staggered by this top half, to be honest. And that's not. I know it's not quite the top half; it's the top 10. If you'd have told me this was the top 10. These 10 teams were the top 10 at the start of the season, I'd have been shaking my head telling me you didn't know what you were on about. Because I look at that playoff picture, and that is not what I would have expected. And you've got to say, amazing job done. Certainly from that point, we've mentioned Paul Heckingbottom. But you see a couple of sides on the up as well in QPR and Southampton looking at their form, 4 wins in 6. That'll give you a good platform for a playoff challenge, certainly at the start of the season. Stoke City 4 defeats in 6 there. As their halo slipped, are they going to get gobbled up by some of the bigger hitters? We will remain to be seen. But I would put everything I own that will not be the 4 at the end of the season. And so people might tell me I'm wrong on that, but Preston North End, fair play to them. But you know, do they stay in there, boys? Because if you'd have said Ipswich, I'd have said yes. If you'd have said Millwall, I'd have said maybe. But Preston and Hull are doing a fantastic job against what I would call the odds.
What do you think, Gaz?
I think somebody's going to surprise us. I really do. I think somebody's going to go up that nobody expected. I really do. I think it's so unpredictable this year. Anybody can beat anyone. Like I say, I think Coventry are there. Middlesbrough, like you said, I agree with you about Southampton maybe stopping them, but don't be surprised if a Preston North End get to a playoff final.
What, potentially do a Luton Town?
Yeah, exactly. It's on the cards. It's definitely on the cards.
Cool. So let's just have a little look at the middle. So you can see there, Leicester City. I think they're going to. I still think they've got too much quality in the side not to mount some kind of challenge. Bristol in a familiar mid-table position. I know they made the playoffs last year, but look at how tight it is there, lads. 28 points for West Bromwich Albion, 31 for Leicester City, who were in 8th position down to 16th. Literally, you could chuck a blanket over the lot of them.
Yeah, and one win can make you shoot up the table, and particularly that clutch of teams in the middle there, where we've seen, obviously we can see from Birmingham to West Brom there, pretty in different form. But you look throughout those teams and you see quality. You know, Birmingham, Jay Stansfield, Damari Gray. Watford, you've got Imran Louza. We know some of the players at West Brom have in Hegerberg and Malumbi. So there's some seasoned Championship pros in there, and any one of those teams, could go on a run and get into the playoffs, and there's a lot of football to be played, as we know. So I think it's going to be exciting, that race for the top 6.
There's going to be some movers out of this middle pack, and I can see a slight improvement for Birmingham in the overall position. I think Southampton are the ones to watch out of that group. I know they've had a disappointing result, but I just see them as having way too much quality. Are you with me, Gaz, or what would you say?
There's definitely people who are going to come out of that park. I can see Birmingham pushing on. I think they might have a big January transfer window as well, depending on fair play, financial fair play, and that. I thought West Brom were a good side. They withheld us for 20 odd minutes when we were actually good, and then turned up. I know we didn't turn up second half. Bristol hit and miss for me. They could be brilliant one week, absolutely shocking the week after. But like you say, it's so open.
Division though, mate, isn't it? Can't you? I could probably level that at about 15 teams this season.
I don't know. Bristol just always seem to be like that, though. I think they on their day they are absolute quality. I think at times, but sometimes they're bottom three teams sometimes as well.
Now, obviously, this is an important comment because they completely agree with what I'm saying. Many, including me, would have had third, fourth, and sixth teams in the relegation battle before the season starts. Honestly, I think those managers, mon chapeau, take a bow indeed, because I think that they are, very much so, Lou. I think they're doing something pretty spectacular this season in terms of what they're managing to produce and managing to show. Final look at the bottom, boys. Not look at this for too long, shall we? Because it doesn't make that pretty a reading for some. Certainly, from the ones that are down there, you've got Sheffield Wednesday who are done for everybody. I think, including the Wednesdayites, will admit that. But I see there's a number of sides there that are going to be looking over the shoulder, because I think Norwich City are going to start motoring soon. Obviously, the little blip for Sheffield United, but you can see all the green. You can see what they've got in terms of personnel. Who do we think is going to be in that shake-up? I can see it being 3 from about 6, gents. Who do you reckon it could be?
I've got a worry for Blackburn, and sometimes I look at the team and I think there's some quality there, and they impress me. Every now and again you get a good performance from them and a good result. But Norwich in resurgent form. Oxford, I think, may struggle as well. They've got a few players that can do bits. Oxford, Portsmouth and Blackburn. Throw Swansea in there as well, who are very inconsistent and go on a bad run of form.
Charlton in the shake, or are they going to be all right?
I think Charlton might be all right. I think it was a good result at Birmingham. I could see them slowly turning things around and having a mid-table season now. Norwich, I think, I agree with you. I think we'll pull away. I think it's the 4 above them that I would say are in some danger of picking up those 2 spots.
Yeah, I personally think Charlton could be embroiled. 1 draw out of the last 6. It takes a lot. I mean, they've got a great result this weekend. Let's not take anything away from them, but it is a tough league, and when you're at that sharp end, it can be tricky for them. So I think they'll form part of that conversation as we go through the season. For me, as a side who've been promoted last year, but it's so exciting, isn't it? Look at the points, one or 2 victories, and you're almost fighting for the playoffs. So that's the nature of the Championship. That's why we are all aboard the Championship. Choo-choo indeed. Thank you very much for joining us, gents. Gaz, great debut, mate. Loving life here. Love getting an expert in. Forget about some of the politicians who said we don't need them. We definitely do. Okay, so we're happy with our experts. So thanks for joining us, Gaz. Thank you for all those that commented. There were a few, but it's mainly saying hello to people and things like that. And obviously, the one that agrees with me gets shown, so that's important. Right, I'll catch you boys next week for another roundup. See you next week on All Aboard the Championship.
See you next week.